My beloved soul, take a moment to breathe deeply and let your heart settle into the truth that I am about to speak to you. You are more than worthy of a love that is unlike any other, and the spouse that God has destined for you will never compare you to anyone else. This is not just a promise. It is a divine assurance that comes directly from the heart of Jesus, who knows and cherishes you far beyond what any human heart could ever fathom. In our world, we often find ourselves caught in the web of comparisons. Society has a way of convincing us that we need to be like someone else, to have what others have, or to fit into some mold in order to be truly loved. But my beloved soul, let me tell you, the love that God has designed for you is not a love based on comparison, nor is it a love that looks for someone better. It is a love that celebrates you just as you are. Imagine the Creator, the one who spoke the universe into existence, the one who designed the very fabric of your being, carefully and intentionally crafting you with a purpose only you can fulfill. God saw you before you were even born. He knew your struggles, your strengths, your hopes, and your fears. And He, in His infinite wisdom, designed your spouse to see you exactly as He sees you, with eyes that do not compare, but with eyes that fully embrace your uniqueness. There may be moments when you wonder if you're enough of a love that is undivided, unshakable, and without comparison. Know this: you are more than enough. You are exactly who your spouse will need. Well, the one who is meant for you will never look at you as a reflection of someone else. They will not evaluate your worth based on past relationships, past failures, or past wounds. They will look at you with the eyes of grace, love, and understanding, seeing your beauty, strength, and spirit, and they will never need to compare you to anyone. This is the beauty of God's design. He does not see you as just another person. He sees you as His beloved, a unique creation that cannot be replicated by anyone else. Your spouse, when they find you, will know this deeply. They will recognize you not only with their eyes, but with their heart. They will understand that the love you share is like no other, unparalleled, unwavering, perfect in its own way. When we look at love through the lens of the world, we often see it as something that needs to measure up to an ideal or a standard. But love, as designed by God, is not something that can be measured against anyone else. It is not about comparing. It is about recognizing the divine purpose in another person, seeing them as God sees them, and loving them for all that they are, flaws and all. Your spouse will not just love you, they will honor the very essence of who you are. They will see your worth, your strength, and your beauty. They will see you as the one whom God has chosen for them, and that love will never waver or falter. In their eyes, you will always be the one they've been waiting for, and no one else will ever compare to you. While you wait for this love, let your heart be filled with peace. Trust that God is preparing both you and your future spouse for the moment when your paths will cross. You are not waiting for someone who will compare you to others, but for someone who will see you as God's perfect gift to them. And in that moment, when you meet, there will be no questions, no doubts, only a profound knowing that you are exactly what each other needed all along. And until that moment comes, rest in the love that God has already given you. You are deeply loved, you are irreplaceable, and you are already a precious treasure in His sight. Know that the love that will one day surround you will be a love that is as unique as you are. A love that does not need comparison because it is perfect in its own way. My beloved soul, now that we have laid the foundation of God's promise that your spouse will never compare you to anyone else, let us dive deeper into understanding the divine depth of this love. The love that God has ordained for you is a love that stands apart from the ways of the world. It is a love that is rooted in something far greater than physical attraction, external standards, or fleeting emotions. It is a love that is eternal, unshakable, and founded on the firm ground of God's will. The world may tell you that love is conditional, that it is based on appearance, status, or some ideal of perfection. But God's love is not like that. His love is not swayed by trends or comparisons. It does not depend on how you measure up to someone else's image or how much you resemble some idealistic notion of beauty. God's love is a divine creation, pure and holy, designed to stand the test of time. When you find the one whom God has chosen for you, you will not feel the pressure of being compared to anyone. There will be no shadows of the past lurking, no measuring stick for perfection. There will only be acceptance, trust, and a deep understanding that you are enough. You, in all your beauty and flaws, will be seen as the perfect companion for your spouse. The unique way God has shaped you will be recognized and cherished. Jesus tells us that our worth is not defined by others' perceptions, but by His love. He sees you for who you truly are, the soul He has intricately woven together with purpose. So when your future spouse looks at you, they won't be looking for someone who matches a preconceived standard. They won't be searching for a copy of someone else. Nor will they compare your laugh to another person's, your eyes to someone else's, your personality to a past love. Instead, they will look at you and see something that is perfectly there, someone uniquely crafted to walk beside them. They will recognize that their soul has been designed to be intertwined with yours. They will understand that no one else could fulfill the role of your presence in their life. It is not about perfection, but about the grace that flows from God, that binds to souls. Together, in a beautiful union, the uniqueness of your love will be a reflection of the uniqueness of God's design. The bond you share with your spouse will be unlike anything the world could ever offer. While the world may compare, judge, or try to mold love into something it is not, you will walk in the understanding that love in its purest form is a gift that flows directly from the Father. Your spouse will not compare you to others, but will embrace you as the one God has perfectly chosen for them. This love will transform you both, will inspire you to grow, to support, and to encourage each other in ways that will deepen your connection and bring glory to God. It is a love that understands that we all come with our own battles, our own scars, and our own pasts. Yet in the eyes of your spouse, those things will not define you. They will see you as the beautiful creation, that you are strong, resilient, and loved by God in ways that are beyond human comprehension. And here's where the magic happens. When you and your spouse stop looking at each other with the lens of comparison, you free each other from the weight of trying to live up to impossible standards. You both become free to love and be loved exactly as you are. This is the kind of freedom that only God can give freedom to be yourself. It's unfiltered, unashamed, and fully embraced for the one you are, not for who you're trying to be. There is a deep peace that comes with knowing that you do not have to compete for love. When your spouse looks at you, they will not see a list of qualities they wish were different. They will see you with all of your beauty and imperfections, and they will love you with a love that only God could have orchestrated. There will be no comparison, only deep, abiding love that transcends the world's limitations. Remember, beloved, your worth is already established in the heart of God. The love that He has set aside for you is beyond comparison because it is divinely unique, created for you and your spouse alone. So do not fear. Trust that the love that awaits you will be one that sets you free. A love that will never measure you against anyone else, because it is a love that is perfect just as it is in all its uniqueness. My beloved soul, let's delve even deeper into the sacred covenant that God is creating between you and your spouse. This is not just a fleeting feeling, a passing emotion, or a temporary connection. The love that God has planned for you is a covenant divine promise that is unbreakable, unwavering, and everlasting. When we speak of covenant love, we're talking about something profound, something that transcends the worldly understanding. Of love, a covenant is a sacred agreement, one that is established not by human will or fleeting desires, but by the very hand of God. It is a bond that goes beyond mere attraction or compatibility. It is a love that is sealed by God's will, a promise that through Him, you and your spouse will grow together in grace, understanding, and mutual support in the world. We often hear of love as a contractor, give and take, where both parties expect something in return. This kind of love is conditional and fragile, dependent on performance, external circumstances, and mutual benefit. But the love that God has for you, and the love He has for your spouse, is not a contract, it is a covenant that binds you together, not because of what you can give to each other, but because of what God has already given to you both. God's covenant love is eternal. It does not depend on the fleeting ups and downs of life. It is not swayed by moments of disappointment, misunderstanding, or hardship. This love is rooted in the foundation of God's promises. And no matter what trials you and your spouse may face, His covenant remains unshaken. When God brings two souls together in love, He is not simply bringing them together for a season. He is bringing them together for a lifetime. His covenant is designed to withstand the storms of life. In a world that is so often broken, where relationships are frail and fleeting, there is something incredibly comforting in knowing that God's love is constant. This is the kind of love that you and your spouse will share, a love that does not compare, a love that does not waver. It is not contingent upon how you feel on any given day. It is not dependent upon circumstances or situations. It is a love that has been sealed in heaven and will remain steadfast no matter what. But for this love to flourish, it requires trust. Trust in God's divine plan. Trust in the promises He has made to you. And trust in each other. Spouse looks at you. They will not only see a person they love, they will see a covenant partner. Someone with whom they have entered into a divine agreement to grow, to support, and to walk through life's journey together. Be the foundation upon which your love is built. It will be unshakable, unwavering, and unbreakable because it is rooted in the faithfulness of God. There will be times when life challenges you both. You may face struggles, misunderstandings, or even moments where the world around you seems to fall apart. But in those moments, the covenant of love that God has set in place will hold you together. You will not be able to compare your relationship to others because your bond will be unlike anything else. You will both know that what you have is unique, blessed, and chosen by God. And no matter the trials, you will walk through them side by side, strengthened by the promise of God's love. Asterisk, beloved, that the love you will share with your spouse is not about perfection. It is about growing together through the imperfections, learning to love each other through every season, and knowing that God's covenant is what holds you together. The world may look for the perfect partner, but God's love will bring you together in ways that the world cannot understand. Your connection will be a living testimony of God's faithfulness, of His perfect timing, and of His perfect plan for both of you. This covenant is not something to take lightly. It is a sacred promise, one that reflects the love between Christ and His church. Jesus, in His infinite love, made a covenant with us that is eternal and unconditional. In the same way, your love for your spouse will reflect that divine covenant, a love that is sacrificial, committed, and unyielding. So, as you wait for the one God has set aside for you, know that He is preparing both you and your future spouse. For this sacred promise, He is shaping your hearts, teaching you patience and building trust, so that when the time is right, you'll both be ready to step into this covenant with Him at the center. When you meet your spouse, you will not only be meeting a person, but a partner in the covenant that God has ordained for your lives. And in that moment, you will know that God has been preparing you both all along for a love that is pure, unshakable, and uniquely yours. My beloved soul, we have walked together through the understanding that the love God has for you is unlike anything else in this world. It is not built on comparison, but on a divine design that makes you uniquely worthy of a love that will never falter, never waver, and never fail. As we close this chapter of reflection, let us look forward to the future with hearts full of faith and hope, knowing that the love God has prepared for you is eternal. You have been chosen, not just to receive love, but to give love. The love that your future spouse will offer you will not be a mere reflection of the world's standards, but a beautiful expression of divine grace. It will be a love that you give freely, without fear of comparison, without hesitation, and with an open heart. It will be a love rooted in the understanding that you are irreplaceable. No one else could ever take your place in their life. God's love is a love that calls you to grow, to flourish, and to become the best version of yourself. It is a love that encourages you to look beyond your flaws and embrace your strengths, to lean into the beauty of your identity in Christ. When your spouse looks at you, they will see this love reflected in your eyes, your words, and your actions. They will see the depth of your heart, the courage in your spirit, and the strength of your character. But remember, beloved, that love is not just about receiving. It is about giving, about walking hand in hand, side by side, through life's challenges and growing together. As you step into the sacred union that God has designed for you, know that it will require effort, trust, and sacrifice. But in those moments when you feel unsure, when you feel the weight of the world pressing on your heart, remember that the love God has for you is always there, steady and constant. It will hold you when you are weak and lift you when you are weary. The beauty of God's plan is that even when you feel alone or unsure of what's to come, His love will always be the foundation that supports you. You will never be compared to anyone else, because the love He has for you is as unique as you are. The love you and your spouse will share will be sacred, set apart, and unshakable. It is a love that can only be understood through the lens of faith, and it is a love that will last forever. So, as you wait, rest in the peace that comes from knowing that God is preparing the perfect love for you. Trust in His timing, trust in His plan, and trust that the spouse you have been waiting for is being prepared by the same God who has been preparing your heart. Remember this. You are loved beyond measure, chosen beyond compare, and destined for a love that will never fade. Your spouse will never look at you and compare you to anyone else, because in their eyes, you will be everything they've ever needed. You are the one God has designed for them, just as they are the one God has designed for you, as you continue. On this journey of love and faith, remember that God's plan for you is unfolding perfectly. And when the time is right, the love you've been waiting for will be everything you've ever dreamed of, and more. Before you go, my beloved soul, if this message has touched your heart and encouraged your spirit, I invite you to subscribe. Subscribe now and join this beautiful community where we explore more of God's promises, His love, and the wonderful plans He has for us. Remember, you are never alone in this journey, and God's love is always with you, guiding you every step of the way. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this message with others who need to hear it. You are part of a divine story, and it's just beginning. May God's love surround you always, and may His perfect plan unfold in your life.